The Justice Beat is dedicated to the 1 in 3 Americans touched by incarceration. Justice Beat is where we discuss all things justice.
All right. Good morning, Justice Beat listening audience. Thank you so very much for joining us on this wonderful Saturday morning. And we're very excited to have 2 guests in the audience in studio today. Ms. Tracey Stanton,
Hey.
and she's with EXPO, Ex-Incarcerated People Organizing.
Yes.
And Mr. Charlie Gentry with the Metropolitan's Congregation United. Welcome.
Welcome. Hi.
Thank you.
Today's topic is going to be very, very interesting. It's one that I've been wanting to do for a very long time, and we'll be discussing incarceration and the unaddressed multi-layered traumas and the fertile ground for churches to get involved in. And so first I want to start off with my guests to give a little bit of intro about some of the work that they're involved in, what they're connected with, and then we'll get into the meat of the show. Tracey, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and what you're doing?
Well, one of my big prominent roles is organizer with EXPO, which is Ex-Incarcerated People Organizing. We're working on a few campaigns. The main campaign that we're working on is to Unlock the Vote, which will restore voting rights to people that are while they're on probation and parole. And we're also working with MCU, in conjunction to break the school to prison pipeline. And then I'm also, aside from that, I am a board member for Center for Women in Transition.
Okay.
It's a transitional home that allows women a safe haven when they return from incarceration and to get that time to be able to heal. And then I also work with the Institute for Peace and Justice, where we do program facilitated classes at transitional homes.
Okay.
To kind of address some of those thinking behaviors and problem solving skills versus the way that we used to solve them. Right. So learning how to be assertive and not passive aggressive, but how to like state your wants and needs and how to get in connected with your emotions, right? Because your emotions lead to your behaviors. Your thoughts lead to your emotions, and your emotions lead to your behaviors, right? So, well, I can get into that point later. And then I do presentations with the Clark Fox Family Mass Incarceration Initiative, where they actually go to different organizations, bipartisan organizations. So they have did programs with police departments, and they have did programs with college students. But it's just to bring awareness to the big epidemic and problem of mass incarceration and who it affects, which is primarily African American men, and how we can go about what actually leads to that. So it's not just you wake up one day and decide that you want to be a criminal. It's so many, or that you want to be a criminal. You know what I mean? It's so many facets that play a part in that. And so we just want to humanize it. So what they do is present the data, and they also present a short documentary of 13th, because we all know that mass incarceration is an extension of slavery. And then we humanize it by bringing.
Now that's a documentary by was it Ava?
I don't know.
Okay. It was on, I know it was on Netflix.
Yes. And it just gets down into the meat and potatoes of how our judicial and criminal justice system was structured and how it transitioned over the years and just changed names from slavery to Jim Crow. Yeah, you know I'm sorry, Charlie. You know.
Preach.
Right. How it just changed names and facets to what it is now, which is the judicial system.
Right. This is how we got to mass incarceration.
This is how we got to mass incarceration.
Right. Yeah. Okay, great.
So those, and then I have a new position with a new organization. But
we'll talk about that because that's with the Bail Project. Is that correct?
Yes, but I'd rather just on these. Yeah.
Okay. All right, great. Charlie, what's going on with you in the community?
So I am a staff member with Metropolitan Congregations United. We're a faith-based organization that puts our congregations in order to get involved in our community. One of the biggest things that we had accomplished there in recent years was the Break the School Prison Pipeline. That was where we partnered with schools, the different, the administration, the police that's in the schools, trying to make those things more humanized for the children. Then we also launched EXPO at the end of last year.
Okay.
EXPO had originally came from Wisconsin, and it was an organization where everybody that was formerly incarcerated started organizing policy.
Right. And you want to tell folks what EXPO is?
Ex-Incarcerated People Organizing.
Okay.
It is strictly, we are going through legislation. We are trying to build power in our community. We are reaching out to people who are actually supportive of humanizing people who have been impacted by the system. And we're building support with families and current organizations that's already out here.
Okay. All right. That sounds great. So now tell me what brought each of you into this work? Tracy or Charlie, one of you can go. Because I think, a lot of times the reason why I'm asking the question is because if we're realistic about the topic and the subject matter, a lot of people just don't get it. Why there's the activism and the advocacy because of some long-held belief systems about incarceration and folks in jails and prisons. And I find that I'm still amazed with the statistics of 1 in 3 having been touched by incarceration, that we still have a large segment of our communities hands off, will not get involved. But as soon as it becomes made real for them and their family, then they start reaching out. So what is your connection to the whole mass incarceration piece?
So for me, to break that, exactly what you speak of, to break that stigma, because I rotated in and out the criminal justice system all of 2016. Okay. Right. Okay. Due to my choices that were a product of my environment. Okay. Right. So I am in recovery.
So what does that look like, though? So when you say product of our environment,
So
because we want to make it plain for folks.
Okay, so to make it plain, I grew up in a family in a poverty-stricken family where my father was addicted to crack cocaine.
Okay.
Where my mother was a working mom that had 7 other children, and then she died at the age of 9. I mean, when I was 9 years old, right? We were homeless. We were on the streets, right?
Right.
And then I got molested. I got molested by someone in a very authoritative position.
Okay.
So I had all this trauma and things like that, right? That I never dealt with because we don't talk about that in the African American community.
Right.
We keep those things silent. And there was no therapy or anything to address those things. But what was around in primary was drugs.
Okay.
Right. So that was that. So that was used for me as a means to cope with everything that was going on inside of me.
Okay,
right. So I reached for anything outside of me to relieve that pain, to relieve that internal anguish, and it grew.
Okay.
And within that time, I went to school. I was tested for gifted schools in the 2nd grade. I didn't have the structure to cultivate those things within me.
Okay.
I graduated high school a year early, went straight to college, didn't do it. I did not put forth the effort I could have because I was still battling internally.
Right.
So I was still using drugs.
Right.
And it escalated over the course of the years. And at 33 is when I went to prison. At 33 is when I went to prison. I worked at the Federal Record Center. I've been supervisor of a whole dental department. Honor roll student when I went to dental school, but the internal issues were never addressed. Right. So what it looks like is your environment plays a part a major part in the role that you're going to have in society and the access that you're going to have to things outside of your society. Like it wasn't until I was like 14 years old that my cousin's girlfriend took me to Front Neck. I had never seen anything outside the radius of my neighborhood to even know that it was possible to do anything different.
See, and that's a significant point because the eye gates are very, very critical to what you become.
Very.
What you see on a daily basis, what goes through your senses, your hearing, your sight, your touch, your smell, all of that helps to formulate how you see yourself and how you relate to the world.
The cap that you put on your mind.
Right.
The women that come home from prison in the classes that I facilitate, when I do this thing with them just to see where their mind is. Now, for me, when I came home, let's just say I always knew I had these qualities. I just didn't know how to get to them.
Right.
When I got the sound mind and came home to a place that afforded me the time I needed to go to additional outside treatment and get the healing from the inside, I knew the where I could go. So I set my sights big, right? Or that I'm going to break down these doors and these people going to let me in, even though I have a felony conviction, even though I used to be a prostitute, even though I used to walk the streets, even though I used to be addicted to drugs. I had that. But a lot of women come home already traumatized from their life experiences, traumatized from being in prison and the things that you experience while you're there.
Right.
And then now they have this stigma on them. Their mind doesn't even go that far. So when I say, what is it that you want to do? They say they want to get a job at Dollar Tree. Because that's where their mind takes them, and because those are the only people that allow them into their space without any pushback.
And see, those unaddressed multi-layered traumas impact a person's ability to dream.
They do.
When you stop dreaming, you stop doing. And so what you see for yourself is very limited.
Very limited.
Yeah. Okay. So you were in and out in 2016. You came out. What would you attribute your success to today?
My success is attributed to other people that believed in me. My success is attributed to a program through St. Louis University called Transition to Employment, which now I sit as a stakeholder to this program. But it was a program that came to the workhouse before I got sentenced to prison. And it was a lady, Brittany Connors, I love you. It was an African-American lady named Brittany Connors that came in, facilitated this class, right? To people, it was a re-entry program, but I got sent to prison. But in this class, the belief and the love that she poured into us, right? Okay, because I get emotional.
Right.
I get emotional.
I understand.
Okay. But the belief and the love that she poured into us, and she broke that barrier of our own mind. She showed us people that had faced our dilemma and found a way out. She showed us people that had felony convictions, that had acquired multi-layered things. You know what I'm saying? So that was the initial thing. Like, I can dude, I can't, my life is not over.
Right.
It's just beginning. So then I was sent to treatment, and I was sent to institutionalized treatment. And in that moment was the first time that I probably got honest with myself about everything. Because, like.
So now this is, this you were involved in when you came out.
No, this.
It was just inside.
This seed was planted on the inside.
Great.
Before I got.
Because I wanted to ask what happened on the inside for you, because we hear all of these stories, and I know a lot of them to be true, that there really is nothing available for a lot of people on the inside. Okay?
There really is not.
Right.
There really is not a lot of things available for the people on the inside. There really are not a lot of programs. It's really not a lot of related. One thing about change, really, when I got out, is seeing somebody who went through what I've been through, the relatable experience, the identification. Right. Because don't get me wrong, I believe in doctors and physicians and all of those things. But if you have never did or been through a lot of the things that I've been through and got out, I need something a little more substance.
Yes.
So just that connection of that relatable experience was a lot. And for Brittany to tell me, like, I'm from the West Side, I'm from the Dub, you know what I'm saying? Like these type of things. But that seed was planted on my way into. It was at the workhouse that they came up with this program.
Okay.
And then I knew that I needed to do something different, like not go back to the same neighborhood.
Exactly.
So that's what the same neighborhood, right?
Environment.
And same environment. What I'm used to. And the crazy thing is, it's kind of a double-edged sword, because yes, this environment is not the most safest or healthiest environment, but these are the people that love you. This is where you get the love that you know,
you're familiar with,
and
people gravitate back to what they're familiar with. Right.
Exactly. Because you never experienced this type of love with your family, but you might be on the block with people that's not. But these people, they smile when they see you, they hug you. You know what I mean? Those exchange of emotions that they give you makes you want to be in that situation and circumstance, even if it's not that healthy.
Right. Exactly.
So when I came home, I knew that I had to do something different, and it's the community having the resources and the support of the community. Because had I not even went to that, was affiliated to that class and attached to the name of St. Louis University, I probably wouldn't have got the position at St. Louis University and been able to go to school at St. Louis University for free, or even been able to be affiliated with. Who's to say? Right. But having that backing and having someone else to vouch for you. Right. Yeah. To vouch for you. That's important. It's very important. Yeah. I mean, it's kind of like, why does it have to be that way? I should be able to vouch for myself, but when you have this stigma, this sign on your forehead, this scarlet letter, which is a DOC number, then you gotta go around things a whole different type of way.
And another way to look at that is, it's always good to have doors open for you.
Yes, it is.
Okay?
Yes, it is.
Sometimes we need those doors open. Okay?
Definitely.
Mr. Gentry, how did you come to get involved in this work?
It has been a very long road. But I think that I naturally gravitated towards it. As I did a lot of not following authority, getting kicked out of schools, driving my parents crazy, all that type of stuff. But my parents were always involved in our community. Like, they always wanted something better for that. And then when I started making those choices and started to get in trouble, now I started to understand why some of those people were doing what they were doing. Now, it hadn't clicked yet. Right. But that was where I started to kind of pick up on, like, when I actually figured out, this is what I want to do. Like, these are the things that I relate back on.
But you, from when I read your bio, I believe you said you had some extensive experience with the juvenile justice system.
Yes.
Okay, so that's what you're referencing.
I stayed on Vanderbilt quite frequently.
Okay.
But yeah, from teachers, assaultive teachers, students, most of the stuff was just outside of the home, like just acting up in the community. I just couldn't get it right. I didn't have an outlet. I didn't pick up a sport, really. My mom tried, and I was good at them. But at that time, through the 8 and 12, like, I just wasn't getting it.
Okay. So you had parents who were actively involved in the community.
Yes.
Your mom tried to get you in sports, and you rejected all of it. Why do you think you were more inclined to reject than to receive what was available?
Because when we're young, we want to be cool.
Between 8 and 12?
We want to be accepted.
Yeah. When Miss
Williams across the street lets her son walks down the street with his pants hanging down off his tail, then I feel like, oh, that's cool. He got some girls and stuff like that. So now I want to do that. And it starts with something like that small. But as you see, it goes a lot bigger and a lot deeper. But like, I wanted to like fit in, or I might not have fitted in, or I wanted to maybe do more, or like at that time, I can't really say exactly what my thinking was, but I know that as I look back on it and I look at the people that's going through it right now, like it's the same thing. Like you're not doing some of those things just because that's what you want to do. You didn't get up and just want to commit a crime. You didn't just go up and rob.
Right. So, but see that you guys have somewhat similar experiences, but yours speaks more towards environmental issues, factors that really impacted you that went unaddressed. Yours speaks to choices.
Mine is more
yours was choices.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, we do believe our criminal justice system is messed up and it's wrong and needs some changes.
Right.
But a lot of times it comes down to the choices that we make, and then it allows others to be able to do those things.
Right.
You know, I was reading a story the other day. A guy had stole like $9 and has been sent in prison for 38 years.
Yeah. So
like, yeah, it was a choice. His situation, maybe his environment, maybe caused him to do that, whatever. But like,
does the punishment
does
fit?
That punishment really fit?
Right. And see, this is good for our listening audience, because as we opened the show, we talked about some of the reluctancy of individuals to really embrace this issue. But it's good for the listening audience to hear both perspectives, because now you can kind of understand what brings people to this place. And some of it is personal responsibility of choices. Some of it is things that were beyond your control that went unaddressed. So your involvement in the JJ system, what was that like? Because I'm also personally interested in what is happening with our youth. And you talk about the school to prison pipeline. What was that experience like for you?
It was an experience where I didn't even really understand what I was doing at that time. I didn't even really understand. But those conditions in there, especially on Vanderventor, it was more like, because I've been sent to group homes. I have been sent to Kansas City, all type of places. But during that juvenile era, it was like I was digging myself for deeper.
Okay.
And the reason why I say that is because I had so much pent up animosity. Like I was always frustrated, always fighting, always rebelling against the staff members. I'm like, even if they had told me something wrong, like that wasn't what got me in trouble.
Okay.
It was me.
It was you. Okay.
It was most of the time the children, all of us that was in there, we had pent up animosity against each other. We were always fighting. So we had a lot of violence come from the street into the juvenile system. And it wasn't like we didn't know each other. Like we all literally knew each other, either from the boys club where my parents tried to get me to go, or if it was from on the corner from the corner store.
Right.
I want to say it's traumatizing because I see it as a revolving door. I see it as that you're just basically housing me to take care of me, to hold me because I did something offensive, and you're not really giving me anything. Yeah, you might force me to go to school, but I don't have to do any work as long as I just get out of the bed and go to school, then I'm okay. I can get out, I can go play basketball with my friends and play cards and all this type of stuff. So I didn't learn anything.
Okay.
So there was no rehabilitation. And I got right now, as you know, I have switched more to EXPO, but I don't see it now. I mean, I know that we're making good changes, but at the same time, are you trying to rehabilitate me and save me? Or are you trying to just hold me until I turn 18 and I can catch another crime and you can lock me up for the rest of my life?
What was a typical day for you on the inside?
It was
that would have been beneficial or productive towards your future.
What would have been, or
what should have? What I'm trying to get at is, what is a typical day for a young person that's in the juvenile justice system that is what are the investments that are going on?
Well, now I think there's a lot more investments.
Okay.
You have a lot of churches. You have a lot of organizations. Right now I think it's getting better because everybody is on the issue and trying to come up with a solution, and trying to figure it out. But back then, it was a typical day of waking up, having breakfast. There was a fight in probably 5 minutes, and then everybody goes back to their room, and then they come back out, and then we play little cards again, and there's another fight, and then we're locked up again.
And that's it.
And then that's the end of the day, and then they get tired of you, and they say, "Look, y'all just gonna stay in your room for the rest of the day."
Right. Okay.
And so now, like, I haven't took advantage of anything. Like, I literally would get up, like I like bringing like prison as an example because it's a fence. And everything that's in your community is around that fence. And basically what you'll do for the rest of your time is just walk around that fence. So, yeah, it might seem like, I'm going to the library. Yeah, I'm going to the chapel. I'm going to school. But in reality, I'm just going around in circles.
In circles. Right. Okay. We're going to take a break because this is a good place for us to come back and regroup around discussing why mass incarceration, multi-layered issues, is a fertile ground for the community of faith. You've laid out the case, what the issues are. So let's talk about how do we get the churches connected, more churches connected, and really explain to them that this is an issue area that they have responsibility for. And it's one of their ministry areas that really should be attended to. So, listening audience, we hope that you continue to stay with us. We're going to come back with further discussions with Ms. Stanton and Mr. Gentry on why this is fertile ground for the churches. We'll be back in 3 minutes.
3 minutes.
All right. Thank you and welcome back. You are listening to the Justice Beat Talk Show. And in studio, we have Ms. Tracey Stanton from EXPO and Mr. Charlie Gentry from Metropolitan Congregations United. As you know, we are going to pick up with this segment and discussing why the issue of mass incarceration is very fertile ground for the community of faith, and want to get some perspectives from Tracey and Charlie on ways that the community of faith can get involved with these issues that are prevailing in jails and prisons, not only in St. Louis, but across the country. The perspective that I hold is that the church has a great commission. And one of those things that when we look at the commission is reconciliation, relationship building, reaching out to those, the least of these. And we want to really find out how can we increase the engagement and the involvement on the ground of the churches and the community really reaching out and having a tremendous impact in this area. Tracey?
I have my own views. I don't know if I have my own views about this topic. Because I believe that we being transparent.
Absolutely. This is an independent show.
Like,
there's nothing off limits. Okay. We can talk about what we want to talk about.
Okay, so my personal opinion, this is just only my personal opinion. Please take this away from EXPO. This is Tracey Stanton talking.
That's correct.
Okay, so with that being said, churches house some of the most judgmental people. The people that are not supposed to be that judgmental, right? And that's ground is based in rehabilitation and redemption, as long as it looks like this. As long as it looks like coming to their church and doing this. As long as it looks like putting stipulations on who they help. This is just my personal belief.
I understand.
I believe that they have the tools and the range to be able to attack some of the issues that people deal with internally, and to be a support, right? Because churches show up for people, they show up for events, they show up for things, right? They know how to commune and get people together. But I just believe that they fall into, and I'm not pointing at anyone, but they fall into the stigma too. That it's like hands off. They don't want to deal with us.
Right.
They don't want to deal with us because they still have their preconceived notions, and they want to grab their purses, and they don't want to trust that a person can be rehabilitated in that aspect.
Right.
So it's a lot of fear. It's a lot of judgment still. So it's like for me, it's more so like the practicing what you preach, like type of thing.
Right.
So that's just my take on that
so
part.
when you look at multi-layered traumas,
Mhm.
which is an area that really needs to be explored from the faith community, because they are equipped,
Mhm.
really are equipped to be able to help address. Within the churches, you have many professions.
You have
Folks who are mental health
Many
counselors,
professions.
clinicians, doctors, lawyers, anything that you can need as a resource typically can be found in the household of faith.
Yes, ma'am. And they have the funds and the means and the
Mm-hmm.
space. They have everything to be able to host these healing circles or trauma restoration
Mm-hmm.
workshops. They have the people. There's like givers of faith.
Right.
They have the space, they have the people, they have the capacity, they have the spiritual fortitude, because I don't take that away from them either. And they have the dedication. So what is it between the help and the not help?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? The shying away from that.
Have you had personal experience where you thought perhaps that might be where you could go and it didn't turn out to be what you thought?
No.
Okay.
The personal experiences that I have previously came from my own situations and circumstances and surroundings. I would just say that.
Right.
And maybe communications that I've had with, but I don't want to take that individual and make them be a representation of the whole church.
Mm-hmm.
But some people that I have had conversations with, and I watch body language and read facial structures. And when I say, because I'm very open and transparent about me having a failed conviction, I'm very open and transparent about me being in recovery and me being in addiction. And I have those conversations that people don't have.
Right.
And I can read your initial reaction when I say that. And then the conversation changes. And the reason why I do that is because when I go to these places and they introduce me and they introduce this long list of stuff that I do and all that, the accolades and all that, I don't want you to get caught up in it. I need you to know that this who I am. Right. And this is who I am. But aside from that stuff that I happen to be within the last few years, I was the damaged Tracey for the most part of my life.
Part of your life.
So I need to bring that up to the forefront, because now I can see if you really want to be involved with me or you just want to be involved with the things that I'm involved with. And I don't need those types of people.
See, you mentioned damage, and a lot of times what I think we often don't see, especially when you're talking about the household of faith, what people present, a lot of times we don't identify it as them presenting from a place of damage.
I know.
And so we back away from it because it doesn't look like what we're used to. And that is something that we really need to become a little bit more empathetic towards, is being able to recognize when you've got damage being presented and how to help.
And damage, hurt people.
Yes.
No one wakes up.
I learned that. Yeah.
Hurt people. So, and people of faith, and these are all, like I said, these are all my beliefs. We are all born with a human innate nature to love and be caring.
Yes.
Society and circumstances and situations turn us aggressive, angry, and make us promote violence.
Yes.
Nobody wakes up like that. So statistically and scientifically proven that a hurt person is what changes to a hurt person. So a person that has learned anger and aggression and that has been abused, in order to get you to listen to them, they abuse, because that is something that they have been taught. That's something
and the environment they came out of.
They came out of, right? So something happens over the trajectory of your life that makes you turn to this other person. You know what I mean?
Right.
But spiritually and humanly, on the inside, the majority of us have godly in the spirit within us, right? It's life and circumstances and situations that alter us into these other beings.
Right.
So if the people in the church, in the faith-based community, which MCU is a faith-based community, and their community is based on everyone.
Right.
Everyone reaching out to different facets of life, right? Because they're the one that launched the EXPO. So they connect with different, no judgment,
right?
You know what I'm saying? Different other faith-based community to do this work within the community. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I'm not saying all churches, but I feel like more people can. And then you have a lot of these facilities that. Okay, I'm gonna stop that.
It's okay. It's okay. I mean, I think part of the issue with what you would call maybe the traditional church or way of doing church is that they tend to shy away from what has been termed social justice issues, right? And why? I mean, why is there this reluctancy to get involved in social justice issues? I mean, how are you seeing that different from ministry? Charlie?
So we actually, Miss Reverend Susan Sneed had a conversation. We took a trip to Illinois, and we actually had this conversation about why people are scared.
Fear.
They are scared to open up to something that they don't know. For so long, oh, well, he robbed somebody. I don't want him around here. He stole. I don't want him working with money.
Right.
And that's the reality. And I mean, and people should be guarded. But at the same time, when you're talking about forgiveness, which is in the Bible, our reverend at our church, St. John, she talks about reading the word. So if these congregations that are not participating in social justice are actually preaching the word, then they would actually stand in the community and fight for those issues. I'm not saying you can't pick pieces out. Like I'm pretty sure like I could say something to say, if I had a point to make to Tracey, I'd probably quote a verse or something, right? Well, she can look at it and say, well, this is the other half of it right here. And I might not want to talk about that part. And that's what's happening.
And you know who does a tremendous job? I know MCU is, awesome, right? But as you were talking, who came to mind, and I follow him, is Reverend Barber with Moral Mondays. And he's getting ready to do the Poor People's Campaign March. He does a fabulous job with the integration of theology and social justice issues where it makes sense. It's not separate and apart. And that's what you're talking about. It ought to be integral to what you're doing in ministry.
You can't skip over it. You can't skip over our church is on the north side.
Okay.
And I grew up on the north side. My mother's from the north side. And there's a church that we were actually just talking about is right across the street from Fairground. But we were talking about how the homeless people out there, and they congregate around the church, and then the people come out and they walk right by them. And they don't treat them. They don't even see them.
Right.
But yet instead, they say these good things and they do these good things. It's not a call out, but it's saying that this is how our community feels when they see you. So it's not about, I can put a title on myself, but it's not about the title I gave to myself. It's about how others look at that. So if others is not giving you that, there's a problem with that. So when you're talking about preaching the word, you're talking about caring about another person simply, and just, being involved in your community. How can you not be involved in your community, even if you don't have the resources to go all around town and be downtown and county, but your immediate community?
Right.
We at St. John's, we do a community prayer breakfast once a month. We do an annual barbecue.
You said a community prayer breakfast?
Yes, ma'am.
And that is once a month when?
I believe it's the second Saturday of every month.
Okay, where is that?
4136 North Grand.
Okay.
So it's about being involved. Like, if I don't have money to give you, I might be able to have something in my house. A lot of these churches, they have pantries. They have these things. When I was an intern with James Clark, one of the best things we ever did was the pulpits of porches, and it was trying to organize local churches to mobilize resource fairs. I shouldn't have to go to North County to get any help.
Right.
I should be able to go right in my community and get help. My church should be putting on things where they see in the community where people need help. Either it's clothing, high volume of women pregnancy, whatever it may be. There can be switched up throughout the month. You can't touch everybody, but you can offer it, and those the ones that actually want it will come to you. Okay.
And so tell us a little bit about EXPO. That's really a very interesting concept, because you're talking about ex-incarcerated people organizing. What are they organizing around? What are they doing? How effective have they been? And that's good, because it should be led by those who have the experience.
Excellent, yeah.
Okay.
So EXPO Wisconsin has been around for a while.
Mm-hmm.
This is where we're a chapter just now building
Okay.
power here.
Here in St. Louis.
Yeah,
Okay.
so we're building off the same structure. Charlie and them actually, I wasn't able to go, but Charlie and them actually went and did a whole weekend training with the members of EXPO.
Okay.
And they have banned the box. They have stopped solitary confinement in up there in Wisconsin. They're working also to unlock the campaign, unlock the vote in that up there. They have been very, very effective. They have resources for people that come home from prison. They have healing circles, mental evaluation groups for like men, because you know it's very African American men do not get together and talk about their emotions, and that leads to a lot of aggression. And they have built so many good relationships with the legislators and probation parole board and things like that up there. So we're trying to bring that same structure
concept and everything here.
So, to do
are you working in conjunction with the churches in St. Louis around EXPO, or how are they?
We are reaching out to anybody.
Okay.
It doesn't matter if it's Islam, if it's Christianity.
Right.
We are looking for
That's why I say household
tired.
of faith initially, because it could be a different denomination, but we want to see the mass incarceration is fertile ground.
Yes.
So if you're going to plant something somewhere, plant in that area of mass incarceration, because the need is tremendous.
The need is definitely tremendous. We want to involve everybody. So although mass incarceration affects primarily African American men, it affects our community, our world as a whole, right? So we need Charlie is not going to be able to reach people that I can reach. I'm not going to be able to reach people that our member Jake can reach. Jake is not going to be able to reach our member Ronnie can reach. So we need a multifaceted of people with different backgrounds, with different ethnical beliefs, with different religious beliefs. We need everybody to come together so we can all reach different, so we can have that domino effect and reach different aspects and reach different people and reach different faiths, because this is it's been going on for a long, long time. And if it's not addressed, how is it ever going to heal?
Exactly. Right? Charlie?
If we can go down there to our legislators, when we ask for unlock the vote, when we ask for getting rid of Horizon in Department of Corrections, we ask for, all these different things. When we go to these people and ask for these things, and you're showing united, that there's multitude of people, that speaks value compared to, as back like with the churches, where we just want to focus on, I don't know. We do
handing out toiletries.
Handing out toiletries.
Okay, I helped you out.
Yeah, thanks. And then the church, is the people in the church. Just like they say about Jesus, the people in the church, they already saved.
Right. What's coming to mind is what level of educating do you do with the churches to kind of bring down that guard? How do you sensitize them to the issue? Is there any effort or time spent doing that?
So I'm a member of St. John. I came to this church because of the work that they already had done.
Okay.
But if I was to go somewhere else or things like that, I would say that you just have to be active and vigilant with the leader of the congregation and members of the congregation, and see who's all on board on it. Because you're an extension of your church, even though I walk around with an EXPO shirt on or a council shirt.
Right.
You're still a member of that congregation. So your actions and things like that in the community reflects that. So I think that even if you are a member of a congregation and they're not in community work, then I think you can mobilize that yourself.
Exactly.
I think that's where the no excuse line comes in. We can't force our pastors.
You can do it yourself, because see, one of the things is we keep thinking about church in the construct of a building, right?
Exactly.
But we are
the church.
Okay.
Yes.
So when you think about individual responsibility, if it's not happening where you choose to worship, then find somewhere where you can plug in to meet that innate desire to give in that area individually.
You see a lot of like MCU, like they break all these different things down to like break the school prison pipeline, EXPO, and preparatory defense. So in your church, that's the same thing that you need to do. Everybody's not going to be involved in that. Everybody's maybe not culturally sensitive to even understand what's going on.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
But,
right?
But if I'm in the congregation and I see Tracey and she's in the congregation,
right?
Why can't me and Tracey go out and do certain things? Why can't me and Tracey maybe write something up and ask our pastor, could you help us do something like this, whatever?
Right.
So you can't really blame the church.
Mm-hmm.
It's the individuals in there, and they are really just like not either not caring or don't. I know they understand because I know like a couple of summer ago I used to ride down the train to work, and I would hear people say, "I don't even feel safe riding the bus anymore," and things like that. And they're saying these things, and they're saying, "Well, I can't even give this guy no money because I'm scared he's gonna snatch the whole thing out of my thing." Like there's people at the stoplight that literally says, "Well, I would have helped him yesterday, but I was scared to."
They let their fears dictate their giving.
But there's ways that you can get around it, and I think that, as you said, we need to bring that to the forefront.
To our listening audience, if you have a question or comment, you can call our call-in line at 515-599-1687. Again, the number is 515-599-1687. Tracey, so where do we go from here? How do we engage all facets of folks? How do we start talking this issue up? Because see, you know why this is so critical? When you look at the statistics, 1 in 3 Americans are touched by incarceration. 1 in 3. Which means that, there are folks who are probably engaged. There are some who are at home and don't really want nobody to know. You have grandparents raising children of parents who are incarcerated. 1 in 3 that's significant. And there's got to be a way for us to take the stigma down, reduce the stigma, and begin to make this an issue area that folks say there's no way we cannot be involved.
So for me, I might want to take like a different, I'm always like, so I want to take a different approach because I'm not really into trying to convince people to believe in me. I'd rather convince the people that don't believe themselves to believe in themselves, and then we can show y'all that y'all need to believe in us.
Right.
So
that's what I'm talking about. What's another way we can do this? Let's build them up. How do we help them recapture dreams that have been laid down?
The hope. So listen, this is my ploy and this is my plea to everyone out here that has been involved in the criminal justice system, that has made the transition. You know what I mean? The Charlie Gentrys, the Tracey Stantons, the Darren Seals, and a lot of other people that are doing work in this community that have been affected,
right,
to break down the stigma, right? To go into these places that you have been to, because some people, I ain't gonna say a lot of people, but some people make it through that storm and they don't look back. You know what I mean?
That's true.
It's true. And they don't look back. So what we are focused on is building that power within the people that have been impacted and showing them, because one thing, like I said, visual and hope. So when I came out, I went into a program where it was nothing but people that had damaged their lives, and they were all successful people, healing, trying to be their best selves, accomplish things that I could never thought that I would be able to do. When I first came home and I was broken, you know what I mean? And I had all this low self-esteem, which I had all my life, but now I just added on top of it. But when I went into this organization where it was other people that had been just like me and that had did everything that I thought only I did when I was only in that place of solitude. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
When they gave me that hope and I seen them, doing it, and I seen that they acquired these things that I wanted to acquire, and that they were focused on spirituality and they healing themselves from the inside out. And that is what leads to financial gain, and all that stuff is gonna come. But if you're trying to be your best self, when I seen that within them, it gave me hope. Right? When you get into a space where you're able to talk about those uncomfortable things, you're able to get them outside of you, because shame and guilt will hinder you. That's a big weight on you, and it hinders you, and it just puts a cap on your capability to even think that you can do something else, right? Because of that forgiveness piece. So before you even care about somebody else forgiving you, and even if they do forgive you, you got to first forgive yourself internally and give yourself the freedom to be able to move past that. So with like the people that I deal with, the the first thing I do when I get there, because they don't know me, they just see this.
Right.
So I tell them, I used to smoke crack. I used to do this. I've been to prison. You know what I'm saying? I tell them all these things, and the wall, and I can see the walls immediately come right down.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I can see the wall. So the hope, and from my aspect, I feel like if we build up enough power, if we help build and heal the people in the community, if we continue to try to break the school to prison pipeline, if Charlie goes and talks to these kids about his experience and where it led him to and what he is doing now, you know, prevention is definitely key when we're talking about mass incarceration. And then we talk about rehabilitation.
Right.
You know what I mean? On the end. So if we can stop it from the beginning, and then we can catch it on the end, you know, with the people that have been affected. And I feel like the rest of the people will come in play. I know for me, being authentically who I am, right, has opened up the doors for me in places that I probably would have never been able to get to if I not been able to be comfortable enough to say that I used to smoke crack and walk the strolls and, you know what I'm saying, and do all of those things. So it's about empowering and building the person, you know what I mean, and assisting them with their needs or whatever it is they need, and then ask them what they need to be successful.
Exactly.
Because we always want to project what we think they need. Charlie might need something different than what I need. So you need to go to the individuals and ask them what is it that they need. What areas are they lacking? What areas do they need strengthened in? But don't be scared to go to the people.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because like you said, the church is within self.
Right. It is self, and it's not the only option.
It's not.
There are many other ways to get plugged in. And I'm wondering, I was thinking about, is there a mentoring component to any of the work that EXPO is doing, like one-on-one mentoring?
So Wisconsin, I had to order you out after Wisconsin.
It's okay. I mean, you guys are starting.
We're just starting. We still need people, by the way, listeners. We still need people.
Yeah, right. I'm going to get to that to find out what it is you have need of. How often are you meeting in terms of your monthly or weekly meetings that you may be doing? We'll get to that towards the end.
Okay.
But yeah, so go ahead.
So in Wisconsin, the way that the network is set up is that you bring with you what you already had. So Tracey is Bell Project, yada 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 yada. So she doesn't leave that at the door when she comes to work for EXPO.
Right.
And I think that right there is the mentoring part, because it's not like I'm over you, I'm shadowing you, I'm trying to teach you anything. I'm walking alongside you.
Right.
You're going through the same places I went through. Like I'm in a program called Project Outreach. It helps people formerly incarcerated get housing, like own homes within 2 years.
Okay.
He pulled me in.
Okay.
Like, I went through so much problems with that. Going to school, couldn't get the apartment and things like that. And you have the money.
Right.
And this is a real reality that it sucks.
It is.
So the mentorship comes in when you meet new people. So those people can guide me through a process.
Okay.
Other people can guide me through a process. I don't know everything. Tracey doesn't know everything.
Right.
But we might have Giles who might know everything.
Giles might know everything. Y'all don't know Giles, but he might know everything. No.
Okay.
Giles is another member.
All right. Okay.
But that's where I think the mentorship comes from, because with us, it's a bonding. Like we do things together. We support each other events. We go to poetry. You know, me and Jake played basketball at the Y last night. And so those are the type of things that brings people along.
Okay.
When you're always punishing, just throwing out consequences and punishing or trying to correct or tell them what they need to do, that doesn't work.
Right.
But if you can have that bond where I can at least ask you, if I feel comfortable enough to ask you, that's where the real change will come from.
Okay. Right. So with EXPO, because we've got about 4 minutes left on the show, what are the needs? You're just getting started here in St. Louis. How long have you been on the ground here?
We went to the training in December.
In December? Okay.
And I launched in October.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So we're in 2020, year vision.
Yes, everyone's
year
vision.
Right, exactly. Vision. So what is the vision for St. Louis's EXPO chapter?
St. Louis's EXPO chapter is advocating for this Unlock the Vote. We're going to Jeff City this week.
What day?
Wednesday. We're going to Lobby Day.
Lobby Day?
Yes. With
so
ACLU.
That would be
The
12th?
The 12th.
The 12th of February, Lobby Day in Jeff City for Unlock the Vote. Okay.
We need people to advocate for that. That's what we are doing right now. We are building a core group so we can get our mentor from Jerome Dillard from EXPO down here for training in the next couple of weeks.
Do you have talking points for Unlock the Vote? What do you have that we could share with our listening audience online? Like, do you have a website?
Okay, so we have, I will refer you to the Wisconsin's, it's called EXPO Wisconsin.
EXPO Wisconsin.
And that will give you basically a brief rundown of what EXPO consists of.
Okay.
It tells you the focal points. It shows you what they have already accomplished, but it also just shows you kind of the language of where we're going and what the actual objective is.
Okay. All right.
And the MCU is working on now because, like I said, we're just getting getting. So we'll have a portion of Unlock the Vote and Expo on MCU site.
Okay.
Yeah, it's coming up soon.
All right.
But we
so
definitely
that's MCU. What is it? MCU.org.
I think it is.
Okay.
Yes. But we definitely need members. So we're still we definitely.
MCUSTL.org. Okay, that is MCUSTL.org.
Yeah,
okay.
so we definitely need members. We definitely need people that have been impacted by incarceration, that are willing to connect with other people that have been impacted.
How often do you meet?
So we meet every 2 weeks.
Every 2 weeks?
Yes,
where?
Well, you can call. You can message me. Yeah.
Okay, message
so
you.
we meet at different locations. Sometimes we might meet at MCU. Sometimes we might meet at a restaurant or something like that.
Do you have a standing meeting date, like every second and fourth Thursday? Or
no, we are just now. Like Wisconsin has that. Okay. But right now, while we're doing all the legwork and the writing and the paperwork and all this stuff, we are meeting every.
But that's why we're here to help get the word out and the message out.
So we're meeting every 2 weeks.
Okay.
We've been trying to do Thursdays, but I heard that Jake we're trying to make Thursdays. So we're trying to, because everyone has busy lives. So we're just dedicated to meeting every 2 weeks. And then when we go to one meeting, then we decide when the next meeting is going to be.
Okay.
Unlock the Vote does have a Facebook page.
Unlock the Vote. Facebook page is what?
It's Unlock the Vote, Missouri.
Missouri.org.
Is it .org on Facebook?
Okay. We'll get that to you in just a moment, and we'll post it up on our Facebook page. Okay.
Thank you very much.
All right.
And then you can also reach out to Tracey Stanton on Facebook or Charlie Gentry on Facebook. And then we can
inbox me.
Inbox. Yeah, you can just inbox me, or you can email me at t.stanton.
t.stanton at live.com.
Yes, ma'am. You got it. And we can connect that way. And just anybody, just let us know what you want to do and once you get involved. Who, what kind of role you want to play. We don't ask if people just give what they can, because I have a busy life. Charlie has a busy life. Everyone has a busy life, but we need you to just be able to make some kind of commitment, to the cause, and then we can work around it from there, because everybody's not going to play essential parts. Everybody's not going to be core members. Some people are going to be. So, yeah.
What about tangible goods? Do you need?
Oh, we
for
need
your
money.
Meetings, like, and what about water, snacks? I mean, things for your meetings.
Yeah, water, snacks, things for the meetings. We're in the process now of trying to get funding so we can even get business cards. Like we're starting literally from the ground up with this. Okay. Business cards. Yeah, grassroots business cards, T-shirts. Anything can help. We want to try to get funds together so we can go to leadership trainings. So people can donate that way. Okay. They just went to one. I wasn't able to make the one in March because I couldn't get out for my job. But so professional leadership trainings. Even if you have knowledge in any certain areas, that you could just come do a workshop with us. Help us to become better. You know what I mean?
Right.
In any type of way. Any professional development or leadership development workshops where we'll be willing to come to your location if we can get, so whatever it is that you can contribute to the cause and spread the word. Like word of mouth is the biggest thing. Just tell people, hey, it's a group of people that have been incarcerated that are trying to get together and build power based off a structure that is already existing. Build a chapter here. We went and actually did a People's Caucus in Iowa and got to ask Representative Delaney, Bernie Sanders, who was the other? And another presidential candidate. Questions of our choice. So we're moving momentum and we're getting out here and getting seen. It's just we need more people.
Okay.
We need more people that are willing to be.
Well, I'm sure our listening audience will be in contact. You get us some of the additional information that we can put up on our site and on our comment page. And Charlie, do you have any parting words or final comments that you'd like to make?
Oh no, just thank you for having us, helping us get the word out.
Okay.
This is really like good work. Like we really, really want people to not forget what they went through while they were incarcerated.
Right.
Don't forget about what you went through before you got incarcerated.
Oh, right. Don't forget.
And understand that, well, you can't shoot your way to new laws, but you can go talk to your representatives. You can advocate for real change, and it's possible.
Right. Okay. Well, Tracey, Stanton, thank you so much for joining us today, as well as Charlie Gentry. And I want to say a special thank you to two of the show's interns that started with us. That is Stephanie Kim, and she's our social media intern, and Bobby Murphy over here.
Hey, Bobby
is our technical production intern, and they are both from UMSL. And Mr. Justin Kick It in the back, who owns the studio.
Kick It in the back, okay.
Yeah, he's got us kicking it every Saturday. So to our listening audience, please, thank you so much for joining us. We will also have replays or on-demand viewing via our YouTube channel. So if you happen to have missed this, you can view on demand via YouTube. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. This was a very, very important topic.
Thank you.
And we look forward to having you come back in the future to give us some updates on the ground work going on with EXPO. Listening audience, thank you so much for joining us today on the Justice Beat Talk Show. Take care and God bless.